Hey there, superstar. In this video, I will be sharing 3 strategies to guarantee more sales. Who doesn't want more sales in business? I can't imagine anybody saying no to that question. So how do you do it? Well, there are lots of different ways, but there are 3 main categories of ways that I like to look at. The 3 ways are via quantity, via quality, and via conversion. Here's what I mean by that. By quantity, I mean more activity, more outcomes. So more leads, more sales, higher prices, more marketing activity, more of what's already working. When I talk about quantity, I'm talking about more of the yang side in the world of yin and yang. Yang being the more masculine approach to creating more sales. It's the approach that requires more effort, more energy, more investment of time and money and what have you. More activity requires more discipline. Generally, when you're doing more activity, you've got to pick up the phone more, you've got to send out more emails, you've got to write more stuff, you've got to record more videos. So this quantity is all about more activity to generate more outcomes. And as you can imagine, just by my energy and talking about it, it can feel really exhausting. This used to be my primary strategy. When I wanted to generate more leads, I would do more stuff. I would work more hours, I would work more days of the week, I would take less vacation, and basically be in behavior doing mode more often. I find that this strategy is really important at earlier stages in business. If you've ever seen me talk about the seasons of business, which are the season of ideation, creation, just starting out, launching, and then we've got the season of concentration and focus where you're doing more activity, then momentum when we start to see the rubber hit the road and create more traction, and finally stabilization. This is the stage where we're doing concentration and focus, where we've got to do more to create more outcomes. And so like I said, this is more of an early stage thing to do because you've got to seed the business with volume. You've got to get things moving. You've got to have at-bats and opportunities to make sales. The second strategy is the more yin strategy. So this is about not so much quantity, but rather quality. This is about clarifying the signal and becoming more efficient with the activities that you're doing. So if quantity is more of an early stage where you've got to just get into action and start seeing what's working, the quality piece is about clarifying and simplifying and actually distilling down to the things that work best and that matter most. It means getting the message right. It means optimizing the brand. It means letting go of things that aren't working and focusing that energy back into things that are working. In this second strategy, this is very much aligned with my metaphor that I use a lot about building a butterfly garden. It's about planting seeds, nourishing, cultivating, building longer term relationships and higher quality opportunities instead of focusing so much on volume. In this stage, we're focusing on also letting go of that which is good enough and focusing in on that which is ideal. In this stage, we're also focusing a lot on alignment. So in the first stage, we might be focusing a lot on throwing a lot of things out there and seeing what happens and what sticks. In this phase, we're actually taking all those things that we focused out here and we're saying, is this really aligned with what I'm creating? Is this really aligned with the type of client I'm looking to attract? Is this really aligned with how I want to spend my time? So the question, the quality questions that we're asking are all about how does this align with my higher self and my bigger vision? Before I get into the last and final strategy, I want to invite you to like my video and subscribe to my channel. And please, if you have a question or a comment, I would love to hear it. Post it in the comments below. Now, the final strategy is all about conversion, and that means conducting better quality sales conversations and enrollments. I look at these strategies as kind of hand in hand. Let's say that you've already done the early stage work of getting the volume and doing the activity. You've done the second stage work, or you're doing the second stage work of clarifying the message, clarifying the audience, sending out a more coherent and aligned signal into the world, and creating a butterfly garden that's going to attract your people. Well, now that those people are coming in, right? Now's your opportunity to, from that place of receiving those people, determining who's a right fit, who gets an invitation, who gets enrolled into your program. So you can elevate the quality of your programs and at the same time, most likely elevate your price point, which will help you make more sales and be more profitable. So here are some general guidelines or suggestions for this phase. What I would recommend is not to even make offers to people who aren't an ideal match for you. Unless you're 100% sure that they're a good fit, what I suggest is that unless someone is a truly great match and you really could see yourself working with them for a long time and enjoying it and them getting the benefits and the outcomes that you're promising, I wouldn't even make an offer. And remembering that in the process of conversion, a way to raise your conversion rate is to also start with your own energy, cultivating the energy of abundance, of non-attachment, of service and contribution. These are all ways so that you show up in the call energetically as a more aligned leader, a more congruent leader, a more influential leader. I advise going into a sales conversation without the attachment to creating an outcome and instead with curiosity. The curiosity of, is this person someone I really want to serve? Is this someone who's going to really show up 100% and give it all they've got? Will they be devoted? Will they be committed? Will they be grateful and appreciative? And then finally, really showing up on those calls as a leader. Rather than coming into the call as someone who's a supplicant, hey, client has all the power because the client gets to say yes and the client has the money, or even showing up as a colleague, like we're on equal footing. Rather, coming into the conversation from a position of leadership. Doesn't mean you're better than them. It just means that in this particular area of your expertise, you can lead this client and they want to be led. And that's another good question to ask. Does this person want to be led, or are they trying to lead me, right? A great client, in my opinion, is someone who's going to allow themselves to be led by you. I hope this was helpful for you. If you want to learn more about what it looks like to work with me to elevate your business, grow your business, generate more income, and have more joy, freedom, energy, richness, let's connect. You can do that at superstaractivator.com/go or just click on the link below.